this. We speak about shoplifting often, don't we? More than 800 shoplifting offences are going unsolved.
150 jewellery stores were smashed in a single night. Shoplifting rates surged 40%. Organised gangs hit up to 90 high-end shops daily. London's Hatton Garden and Birmingham's Bullring erupted in chaos moments after Keir Starmer's alleged lenient theft blueprint leaked online. At 7:15 p.m, emergency calls flooded in, reporting the first smashed jewellery shops on Oxford Street. By 7:43 p.m, police radios crackled with a chilling alert. Sectors covering Hatton Garden, Bond Street and the Bullring are lost. We need immediate backup. By 8 o'clock sharp, furious crowds besieged police vans, chanting "Stop the thieves!" and demanding Starmer's removal. This was no street party, this was a war zone. Migrant-linked organised gangs drain £2.2 billion yearly from Britain's retailers. High-end jewellery thefts have rocketed over 200% since the pandemic, but the fatal blow came next. Nigel Farage exposed what he branded the massive shoplifting leniency blueprint. Before we reveal the full scale of this catastrophe, let's be clear. Corporate media won't admit how badly law and order has collapsed. They're too scared. That's why we created UK Instability, to deliver the unfiltered truth. Subscribe now for the real story on Britain's downfall. Projections warn of millions more organised jewellery thefts in coming years. The government admits police lack resources to investigate most cases. Now, watch the sleight of hand. Starmer announces billions in support for vulnerable communities and retail recovery schemes. Farage connects the dots. Maintaining the £200 low-value theft threshold forces independent jewellers into bankruptcy when insurance premiums double and stock vanishes. The endgame: bankrupt high street units are snapped up cheaply, redeveloped into mega malls for foreign chains. Critics warn thousands of family-run stores will vanish under concrete and glass. Starmer's 6-hour silence became the final blow. By 8:40 p.m, the surging crowd stormed police lines, hammering riot shields with crowbars and stolen hammers. 2 full platoons were forced to retreat. High-end jewellery districts were hastily fortified with metal shutters and extra barricades to protect remaining stock from what the media instantly labelled far-right thugs. But at 9:10 p.m, the dam finally broke. Leaked police body cam footage surfaced online, showing masked organised gangs smashing display cases and escaping with millions in diamonds and gold, while officers stood by, powerless under restrictive guidelines. The TikTok clip exploded to 8 million views in just 2 hours. The comments told the story. This is Britain's last chance to save independent jewellers. Others went further, calling officers traitors no better than Starmer himself. In 3 frantic hours, 41 arrests were made and 16 police vans damaged or destroyed. The opposition tore into Starmer with hard statistics. Family-run jewellery businesses make up over 20% of the sector, and they have traditionally despised Labour policies. Starmer, visibly shaken in a late-night statement, dismissed the shoplifting leniency blueprint as absolute nonsense. But the accusations kept coming. Then the knockout blow. An old pre-election video of Keir Starmer resurfaced, containing one chilling sentence. "I need 10 years to realise all my plans in politics." Suddenly, everything clicked for the furious shop owners in the streets. It takes roughly 5 years for lenient policies to fully entrench organised crime networks. By that exact moment, Starmer would be fighting his second term. Radical retail groups instantly coined a new phrase: an imported theft army. They claimed a protected criminal class was being cultivated to destroy independent businesses and secure permanent Labour dominance. The crowds became unstoppable. They ignored Starmer's threats of mass imprisonment and his desperate pleas for calm and tolerance. The gangs smashing jewellery stores that night were not mindless opportunists. They were exploiting a system deliberately weakened, and the public was witnessing the slow unfolding of a government blueprint designed to fundamentally alter Britain's retail landscape. Family jewellers are not going bankrupt by accident. They are being driven out by design. Keeping the £200 prosecution threshold and chronic under-policing guarantees, organised gangs operate with near impunity. Critics warn that once cherished high streets will be rebranded as grey zones and buried under vast shopping complexes. Those gleaming new malls are not built for struggling British independents waiting years for support. They are needed to house the mega chains and foreign brands that thrive when small owners collapse. It is a cynical, perfect cycle. Bankrupt the family shops, acquire the prime sites cheaply, redevelop and install the new retail giants. Meanwhile, the £2.2 billion annual cost of shoplifting falls on taxpayers and soaring insurance premiums, the very people being displaced. Shop assistants sleep rough while protected gangs walk free. Pensioners cut back on heating while shattered stores stay dark. This is what Nigel Farage warned about. Tonight, the betrayed public refuse to pay for their own erasure any longer. Security in Britain's high streets has collapsed alongside the independent retail economy. Jewellery thefts have reached historic highs, with organised gangs striking multiple stores in coordinated waves. Shoplifting incidents exceeded 517,000 last year alone, and the true figure for high-value jewellery is believed far higher. Gangs now operate with renewed confidence on streets once considered safe. Smash and grab raids have become daily background noise in London, Birmingham and Manchester, leaving shattered glass and empty cases where family heirlooms once sparkled. Women working late shifts in jewellery stores are terrified to close up after dark. This is not mere incompetence. It is a calculated transformation. Opposition voices have long warned that Starmer's refusal to strengthen theft laws is laying the infrastructure for a new retail order. He gives organised gangs near impunity today. He gives them time to entrench networks tomorrow. And in 5 years, when those networks dominate prime locations, he gives them the ruined high streets just in time for his second election bid. Tonight proved the breaking point. When a government prioritises the rights of repeat offenders over the survival of honest traders, public order dissolves. The chaos erupting across city centres is the raw sound of a betrayed public realising their taxes and soaring insurance premiums are funding their own erasure. Thousands of protesters, shop owners, staff, suppliers were not driven by greed or malice. They were protesting Starmer's betrayal of Britain's retail heritage against the insanity of law-abiding citizens sponsoring their own destruction. Yet within hours, fathers, mothers and lifelong jewellers were branded far-right by the media. When a government prioritises the comfort of protected criminals over the survival of its own people, it doesn't buy loyalty, it breeds insurrection. The hundreds of daily raids flooding premium districts exploit borders in enforcement that Starmer refuses to secure. The demographic shift in retail ownership that sparked tonight's fury has accelerated under policies he refuses to reverse. And the economic strangulation of independent traders is the direct result of guidelines he refuses to amend. Britain isn't being policed. Britain's high streets are being replaced while honest traders pay the bill. For months, retail researchers have quietly assembled the pieces of this commercial puzzle. The shoplifting crisis is not accidental. It is engineered. Policy documents show the same mechanism repeating, the same £200 threshold designed to cripple small jewellers, the same chronic underfunding of retail crime units, the same redevelopment contracts for gleaming megamalls rising where independent units once stood. These are not rescue plans for struggling British shops. These are state-sponsored takeovers for a new retail population imported to secure a political future. The government has the theft statistics. It has the bankruptcy figures. It has the warnings. But under Starmer, every warning is filed under necessary for modern retail growth. That is how we reach this economic insanity. A nation forced to finance its own commercial colonisation, while the architects call criticism misinformation. A British family jeweller who has worked the counter for decades, taxed to the limit, crushed by skyrocketing insurance, bankrupted by repeated raids, finally evicted from his own shop. A loyal shop assistant made redundant, now sleeping in a freezing doorway. Yet the organised gangs arrive daily, smash cases, vanish with millions in gold and diamonds, and face little more than a caution, if they are caught at all. The public sees this financial betrayal clearly. The public feels this displacement in every boarded-up window on the high street. And tonight, the public finally snapped. When a nation realises its own treasury is funding its commercial replacement, patience evaporates faster than the profits of independent traders. Tonight, wasn't just a riot, it was a rejection. Multiple sources from affected shopping districts confirm the same grim reality. Police have effectively surrendered control of key jewellery quarters after dark. Organised gangs now operate with renewed confidence, timing raids for maximum disruption. Smash and grab attacks have become routine, creating zones where staff fear to work late and owners fear to open at all. This is the operational result of a government that views family-run jewellers as an obstacle to modern retail progress. They didn't lack resources to protect honest businesses. They lacked the will. Starmer built his strategy on one cold calculation. A tolerated criminal class erodes independent competition, clearing the way for compliant corporate chains that align with Labour's vision. But that calculation has become a nightmare. He needs 10 years to cement this retail shift. The public is telling him tonight he might not last 10 months. Every decision on theft guidelines is filtered through one goal. How do we accommodate the new retail giants we are enabling? Not how do we save the British independence we are failing. And so the raids continue, the insurance premiums soar, family shops are pushed off prime sites to make way for gleaming mega malls, and Britain's high streets become unrecognisable under Starmer's policies. He calls it progressive reform. Critics call it a commercial population exchange. Tonight, British citizens face the uncomfortable truth. The state will tax you to destitution, but it will tolerate them to profit. The law will seize your livelihood, but it will grant them impunity. Your heritage is being dismantled, but their future is fully facilitated. Betrayal divides a high street faster than bankruptcy. And tonight, the betrayal wasn't hidden in guidelines. It was burning in shattered display cases across the country. This is how a social contract breaks. Not through foreign competition alone, but through internal sabotage. At 9:15 p.m, the perimeter around London's central jewellery districts was finally breached. Not by scattered opportunists, but by a focused surge of desperate demonstrators who felt they had nothing left to lose. Police commanders held back, terrified that a single heavy-handed move would ignite the powder keg already smoking across the high streets. Inside the corridors of power, the silence was deafening, broken only by the frantic drafting of press releases that nobody believed. They spoke of misinformation and disinformation, while family jewellers watched their life's work being legislated into oblivion. A jeweller staring at yet another smashed window doesn't need a conspiracy theory to know he is being pushed out. He just needs to read the unchanged £200 theft threshold and the latest insurance renewal notice. The announcement of vast redevelopment zones, turning once vibrant independent shopping streets into grey zones for new megamalls, has struck deeper than any single raid. It signals a fundamental reshaping of Britain's retail landscape, where heritage businesses are traded for sterile corporate sprawl. And the anger burning tonight is fueled by the bitter suspicion that these gleaming new complexes are not being built for the British independents currently struggling with crippling premiums and empty shelves. They are designed for the international chains that can afford the rents once the family firms are gone. When peaceful retail protests were planned last month, organisers were warned about disruption and public order offences. This double standard is what drives the fury. If you block a pavement to save your shop, you face swift arrest. Yet the public watches live streams of police vans reversing away from surging crowds, officers standing down while display cases are emptied. It sends one clear message. Enforcement is now selective. Starmer's strategy of waiting it out is not de-escalating the crisis. It is confirming the public's worst fears. A leader who vanishes when the capital's jewellery quarters are burning is not governing. He is hiding. The 10-year timeline he once requested for his renewal now sounds less like a promise and more like a threat to those watching their communities change overnight. Every hour that passes without decisive action from Downing Street only emboldens the chaos. The coordination visible on the ground, the organised movements, the supply of tools, the targeting of iconic stores reveals this is not a temporary outburst. It is a structural rebellion against a new retail status quo. Trust is a fragile currency. And tonight, the government is bankrupt. When the law applies differently depending on who you are, honest trader or protected thief, the entire system collapses. The glass will eventually be swept away, the shutters repaired, but the realisation that the state is no longer neutral will remain. This isn't just about stolen gold anymore. It is about the fairness of the entire British commercial system. The people demanding enough is enough are not extremists. They are the last line defending a high street worth saving.